Festive season is officially upon us. 40 games, 17 days, and Christmas jumpers galore, which including one from this very camera. In addition, a special milestone for the FPL Addicts podcast with first in-person live broadcast. Welcome to the Gameweek 17 edition of the FPL Addicts podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be tuning in. There's so much football to cover, which means many opportunities that does wait us when it comes to overcoming our rivals in FPL. But without further ado, lovely milestone. We've not only got Rev, we've also got Reidy in the same room. And welcome to the usual studio. Hello there.
What's happening?
Hello, Chaza. How you doing, mate? You were,
I thought you were a bit nervous then. Like I've not got him hostage, by the way. He's like, hey, I'm totally here of my own free will.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, my hands aren't tied together, just to let you know.
Yeah.
I'll just drop my phone.
Yeah. You're right, Chaza. How are you doing, mate?
We're good, thank you. How are you both?
Yeah, not bad. Loving seeing the usual suspects in the chat as well. Hello, Gary. Hello, Miriam. Hello, Colin as well. Good to see you all. Addicts assemble. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. We got the crew together. Going to have a good podcast.
There's so much to discuss too, especially with players near a suspension tightrope. How did you both react to the game week that has just come in Gameweek 16? First to you, Reidy, then Rev.
Oh, how do they react? What from football, from FPL, both?
Both.
I guess anything. Yeah.
No, as a person, Reidy, he's asking you if you're like emotionally all right. Are you stable? I know that you had a breakdown. He was crying to me on the phone.
Not stable
after the game.
I'm probably
like he was like, Mikey, stable. That's for horses, lad.
I'm probably not going to get what I asked for Christmas, so I'm pretty upset. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll live. But yeah, football-wise, I mean, I enjoy it whenever. I mean, obviously, you want it to go well in FPL, but generally, when the football's there, it's always a good thing. We had a Monday night game, West Ham, Bournemouth, and that kind of probably wasn't as good as what people hope for. To watch, actually, I thought it was a decent game. I thought Bournemouth always good at home.
Yeah.
West Ham looked really, really good. But like
Bowen hit the bar.
And he also walked away from the penalty too.
Fabianski nearly got me a clean sheet. Yeah. It was a bit disappointing near the end, but generally, mate, I'll be honest with you, I forgot what games played out before that Monday. So maybe I need a refresher, a reminder of what games and what results.
Yeah.
Let's start with that, shall we?
Yeah.
Sure. We may as well. No problem. We will go and do that. A brief check on the results from last week, because it's very hard to forget what they are these days, especially with so much football coming left, right, and centre. I will present them before we go through how it all went. So, any particular standout scoreline?
Well, it was not so much the scoreline, but it was the aftermath of the Wolves and Ipswich game for me, which caused a lot of us to react. So my initial reaction was straight away to get rid of Aït-Nouri, because he had some bad fixtures coming up anyway. Wolves have been really poor, and we just needed to get rid of him before I lose any more team value out of him as well. So yeah, that was my initial reaction. But just before I move on, just want to shout out to my mate Pete Headley. Pete Headley's in the chat. Personal one of my best friends. So yeah, good to see you, Headers, lad. Hope you're having a good time. But yeah, it was a pretty crazy game week, and I think for me the standout performance was Lewis Hall getting the haul. So that was a really good little FPL moment for me.
Yeah, I mean, now I'm looking at the results. I'm thinking, how could I have forgot? I mean, Arsenal couldn't manage to get past that robust Everton defence, 0-0. Which I know Mikey's probably surprised about, but Arsenal fans are going to be spitting feathers about. I know you'll probably be able to comment on that in a minute, Chaza.
Well, the only time Everton seem to do well is when we're doing you a favour.
and even we can't capitalise on that.
Well, yeah.
Speaking of a bit of a mental sort of game week of violent conduct, if you will, from Wolves,
crazy,
you know what I mean? Yeah, I mean Andy Robertson straight red. We've managed to scrape a draw against Fulham with 10 men. We were poor first half though, but to get the draw was unreal. We probably could have won the game. And I think obviously there's a couple of results that were expected in there, but there is one that wasn't expected, which I'm sure you can point out what that result is. A certain Manchester derby, Chaza, right?
Yeah, I mean, I watched a couple of them, but I think that was probably the key one because City did put the pressure on them in the first half and only capitalised with one goal. And then once they got the penalty, United, that just increased their belief drastically. We also saw Ahmad just go with another double-digit haul, who we will discuss later on. That's probably, the standout result, if anything.
Yeah. It was a pretty crazy game week. Spurs found themselves again.
Maddison as well, James Maddison.
Mate, I can't think about it too much because I'll cry. But since I've sold him, he's got like 40-something points.
Yeah, I remember at one stage I was saying we need to look out for Maddison, but then there was a period where Ange was dropping him and taking him off early, and it was like, well, actually, he's not a pick, but he's ended up
clearly
with a decent amount of points or something.
Yeah.
Shall we go through our sides?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Why not?
Cool.
Let's do it.
Rev, I mean, I can add it if this is your side. Am I right?
Yeah. That's my team. I'll just I'll get a closer look here actually for myself, and so just to take us through the highlights of it really. I think since I was last on the pod, I took the plunge and I got Mo Salah in, got rid of Haaland finally. Probably hung on to him too long. I had the old sunk cost fallacy, of I'd invested too much into it, too much to pull out, and
I'm glad you said fallacy, and after that you said pull out. So
yeah.
Have to be careful there.
Yeah. I know, like it's just pregnant with innuendo, isn't it? But yeah, Isak doing great for me. Lewis Hall coming in there with a great haul, as I've already mentioned. Nicholas Jackson as well, finally in my team. It's just, I think I took a -8 since I was last on the pod, where I got rid of someone for Mo Salah, can't remember who, but then Haaland down to Isak and Cunha up to Nicholas Jackson as well. So that was who did they get rid of for Salah? I need to look now.
Well, just go previous and you'll be able to see.
Well, I click the
the actual team.
Click the screen, which
Gordon?
was Gordon, because I made a live move.
Yeah, these live moves, Chaza.
And
I love them.
And Anthony Gordon turned out to, well, he didn't even start. So I just went from Gordon to Salah and just cut me losses.
Yeah, great point from Gary there. Rev's pull-out game on point now. He has Merseyside players from the right side of Stanley Park. That couldn't be more true, I think.
Mate,
unless you had Everton defenders last week. I mean, clean sheets galore, but...
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying not to make like a billion inappropriate jokes. But yeah, it feels good to finally be on Salah. I feel like I've moved much closer to the template now, and I feel like
you feel safe with that then?
I've got a bit of damage limitation in there. Aït-Nouri is obviously going, but we'll talk about who our Aït-Nouri replacements are in a little bit. And yeah, so that's about it, really. Not much else to write home about.
Top stuff, Rev. Hopefully a step in the right direction and hoping for more green arrows to come. Did you get a green arrow? Yeah, you would have done.
Did I?
Oh, the -4 was it?
Let's have a look. Overall, no. Red arrow again.
Positive.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're sat 4.7 million in the world. It's a bad time.
It's
we're having a bad time.
But we don't give up. That is
correct. You know, as they say, don't you? Things can really
only get better. The thing is, like, I feel like I've looked at my team over the course of the season, and it's not even been that bad every time.
No,
it's been decent.
It's just all those minus.
No, it's not.
Hits.
It's not even the hits. It was before then. Like, I was still ranked around 4 mil. You know, but it's like my team's been good. Yeah, Jojo saying I'll make do with going to Sal. I mean, it does feel like a pretty nice upgrade, mate. I won't lie. Yeah, so hopefully he can continue his great form for me.
Reidy, we have got some interesting points because we are now level on points after 16 weeks in our mini league.
Even after Monday.
Yeah, we are.
Wow.
We are level 1 points, only 12 behind the leader in Elliot. Reidy, this is your time to go through your side with some interesting returns in there too.
Yeah. So first and foremost, I mean, from the previous game week, I'd made 3 transfers, and they weren't the best. They didn't turn out the best anyway. Certainly, as we mentioned before, the Liverpool game, Andy Robertson getting sent off early on, even after we conceded. So it wasn't even as if we had the clean sheet. But that move, Virgil van Dijk in for Rico Lewis, didn't work out. Fabianski, 4 points. I mean, can't be sniffed at really. But with him being so close to that clean sheet and that bonus, it does feel like a bit of a loss as such.
Kicking the teeth, yeah.
Kicking the teeth, yeah. And then the other move was Enzo, which was actually not too bad.
Paid off. Got a cheeky assist.
Yeah, and then Mbumo kind of cancelled out the clean sheet. But that's a move I made, actually, Enzo for Mbumo, who ended up getting, I think, 9 points.
Ow.
So the moves themselves, I mean, I could have waited till the Saturday deadline. It did go early. I do regret that a little bit because it took the hit. I didn't want to have to take hit, but because of the situation with Jose Sarr being dropped from Wolves, it forced me to a goalkeeper transfer. But yeah, that's definitely, I think, now moving forward, I'm going to learn not to maybe make those early transfers. It just somehow ends up costing you, regardless of price changes and stuff. You have to sometimes just grin and bear it and wait. But the Gabriel clean sheet, that was great. 9 points from him.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people had Aït-Nouri, so they're in the same boat, me and Rev and whoever else. But
yeah,
I went with Captain Salah this week. I was hurt the week before with going with Saka over Palmer, and I did think it was going to be the case again this week. Obviously, Salah only got his assist, and Palmer was still to play on the Sunday night game against Spurs. But it actually turned out that Salah got more points than Palmer, only by a couple. But still kind of picked the right guy. And then it was nice to see Jackson get some extra bonus when they decided to change the point scoring. So Jackson and Cunha was great. Cunha might be banned. Obviously, we don't know whether that's going to come before the last game this week. But yeah, 50, was it 3, Chaza?
Yeah.
53 with a -4, so technically 49 all out.
Sound. Right.
Well, decent week.
Yeah, Matoma getting the bin also.
Yeah. I think it's a really frustrating one for Reidy. I think just from like a data perspective, because the move you made was totally justified, which was Mbumo to Enzo. And so like Mbumo, like literally in the previous games, like with the previous like maybe even 4 games, registered less than 1 XG total, and in the last couple of games now he's been getting a goal, and been being right up there, like maybe even like reverted to some previous position, and that's the way it is sometimes. And even though the move is completely correct, I just sympathize with you on that. Like, you missed out on some points there, even for a -4. So it's just there to even more.
Yeah. I could have just done the goalie and the defender transfer, and that was that. I left Mbumo But you know, we move. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
You have to live with your decisions in FPL, and sometimes it can be cruel. But yeah, Chaza, onto your game week, mate. How did you get on?
In fairness, it was similar to you. A few points less than 46. Timber with a clean sheet. You had Gabriel as well. Salah captain, which in fairness worked out. The same two strikers up front, both getting 9 points. And that's kind of about it. I have Flecken, who made 6 saves, but nothing that flash, in fairness.
Yeah.
Nothing that flash at all.
Yeah.
Good few save points.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see where you go with that team, Chaz, as well. So, like, whether you roll again or whether you make a move. Maybe we'll see on the pod later if we get a little cheeky live transfer.
Well, it's guaranteed you will.
Guaranteed.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Fair enough.
I'm a big enthusiast of doing live transfers for dopamine purposes, which was also said by Rev a couple of weeks ago. So, because that's what the viewers want. And it's just good when you watch a lot of people just do the live transfer and going through the lines.
It's a good little dopamine hit, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is,
yeah. Chaza.
Cool. I'm in a view though. I've got nothing to lose.
So, in terms of the public league, Tom is still leading by 40 points, which is quite astronomical in fairness. But a lot of things
over 1,000 points. It makes me so sad.
Oh my god, yeah, 1,000 points. None of us have even hit 1,000 points.
Yeah. All right, let's move on quickly before we end up all jumping off the bridge.
Yeah. You'll see me in the Mersey later.
Yeah. Before, because we wanted to talk about this, because we saw Enzo get a return. We saw Ahmad also get another double-digit haul. Who right now, in both your eyes, are the best budget attackers in the game?
Well, I'll speak from an Enzo owner's point of view that, you know, is there room for another cheap budget midfielder? If you have Salah, if you have Saka, if you have Palmer, which a lot of sort of engaged managers seem to kind of have. From a price point, Ahmad, is he sort of, or are people able to get to him? And the answer is yes. I mean, he's 5.2 at the minute. Looks really good for United, getting the minutes with Amarim. And he was on the score sheet in the cup for United last night as well. So can you have both? Going back to my original sort of question, I think yes. If you're getting Haaland, most certainly yes, because you're going to need all the money you can get if you do want to have a formium, which, believe it or not, Chaza, some people are probably going to go for, especially with Haaland's fixtures coming up. Even though City do look absolutely, you know, they just don't look like themselves. But yeah, I think those two are still standout. Maybe probably preference for Ahmad. Just looks a little bit more attacking, even though he's a wing back. He's getting really high up the pitch. So yeah, those two for me personally, I am looking to get both of them. What do you think, Mikey?
I'm not personally convinced by Enzo's data yet. I know he's got some good returns and he's been doing all right recently in terms of his outputs, but his numbers aren't matching the data at the moment. So he's got 3 assists so far this season, and his expected assists are 0.19. He's got it just makes me, well, that's in the Conference League. In the Premier League as well, he's got 3 goals but 1.6 expected goals, so he's nearly doubling that data. And again, he's got 4 assists in the Premier League and 2.49. So again, like almost doubly overperforming what his data is saying. Fair enough. He's in a great vein of form at the moment, and we are seeing that. And the issue is for 5.1 mil, whatever he's at the moment, you can't really go too far wrong, to be honest. So, you know, it's one of them. And Gary has absolutely nailed it for me in the comments. You can just flip-flop from Ahmad to Enzo if he goes off form, for sure. So it's one of them. Like, who do you rotate them with? For me, is the issue. Like someone solid who might get you the cheeky return. In Enzo, for me, is like exactly kind of what you want for someone who costs about 5 mil. So it's between Rodgers, Ahmad, and Enzo for me. And I think Ahmad's got some good fixtures coming up. He's been looking good, even if he is playing like as a wing back. It doesn't seem to matter for him. So yeah, that's just a data perspective. But that doesn't take into account the upturn in form that he's had. Like that's the whole season so far. But there might have been a tactical change recently, which is affecting his output. So fair play to Enzo owners if you're on him.
Great points, and I think it is a really good discussion at the moment. I'll probably put it in terms of a rank: Ahmad, Enzo. I'm going to put Raul Jimenez third. Now, his data in the last 5 games hasn't been great, but Fulham's 3 of their next 4 fixtures are all at home against Southampton, Bournemouth, and Ipswich. I think there's value in their attackers, especially from the likes such as Aleksander, who has looked really good recently, performed really well at home to Brighton earlier this month, and they've got a great fixture run too. I like Chelsea. So I reckon that is a good way to sort of go about it, but I could understand the popularity and going the straight 5 mil template picks in Ahmad and Enzo.
Yeah,
at the moment.
Absolutely. I think sometimes I know I say it a lot. You can't look a gift horse in the mouth.
You love that side, don't you?
Yeah, I love it. I think you see like attacking players playing for Man United and Chelsea, and then on the other hand, you've got like someone who occasionally pops up for Fulham. It's like it doesn't take that much thinking about them. That's no disrespect to Fulham. They have been great, and what I wouldn't give to have Marco Silva back at Everton at the moment. But that's just the way it is. Unfortunately, I think we're more attracted to having our FPL teams littered with players from top 8 teams, as opposed to dancing around with people in the who traditionally have struggled in the Premier League.
Sound indeed. Women's League, very quickly. Mira is still holding a 33-point lead as things stand. However, great game week from Sue Davies, who's rose from 4th to 2nd spot. Game week 17 fixtures. This is an important one. The first of the 4 game weeks, all sandwiched in the space of 2.5 weeks. To you both, a particular standout fixture.
Go on, Reidy.
You're gonna let me do the honours.
Yeah, go on.
Standout fixture. I'll tell you what, Sunday's absolutely action-packed, isn't it?
There's
so much football on Sunday. I am going to be, I say boring, but I just think I don't feel like there's any other fixture that comes close to it, and I think it is Spurs-Liverpool. Given that both are through in the League Cup, Ange Ball is still very much present. I don't think he cares about conceding. He just wants to score. A bit of a Brendan Rodgers sort of method or tactics, and in terms of will score more than you, which, as we've seen with Spurs this season, doesn't always work, but when it does, they look really dangerous. So yeah, for me, that's the standout last game of the game week. We're top of the league, but not by much. So Chelsea are obviously breathing down our necks, even though we've got that game in hand against Mikey's beloved Everton. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that, and I'm really gutted that I can't actually make that game with yourself this weekend, Chaza. That would have been an absolute, the highlight of the weekend. But yeah, mates, that's the one for me.
Yeah.
Rev.
Yeah, for me, it's and like, sorry to keep coming back to them, but Man City are in dire need of a result here, and it's at the point where me and Reidy had a conversation about this the other day, where I have both Concert and Rodgers in my team, and just out of pure habit, I just benched them because I saw Man City next to their name in the fixture thing when it comes to your little pick team section, and Reidy was like, "What are you doing?" And I kind of came to that realization, obviously with Reidy's help, to say, well, yeah, Man City are actually maybe a side that we target at the moment. They're just conceding silly goals. So I'm gonna I'm we're gonna make a Christmas single together and play some Aston Villa players against Man City. Yeah, so
That's it. Yeah.
Great choice. No,
yeah, hopefully the weather outside won't be too frightful.
Yeah, the fire is delightful. I've heard. Yeah. Sorry about that, Gary. Proper cheese.
I like it. Someone has chosen from the bottom of the rack. One's gone from the top. I'm sort of going in the middle. I'm genuinely going Everton versus Chelsea because one, Chelsea haven't had a good record at Goodison Park recently. Number two, I think the general average score for this game week will probably determine on how Chelsea players perform. In addition, Everton at home, they are pretty hard to beat. It's probably a put off in terms of captaincy for Cole Palmer as well, and a lot of managers wanting to invest in triple up in that side with their current schedule. So I reckon it's that game.
Yeah. No, that's a good shout. It is a good shout.
For me, lightning doesn't strike twice. I think our clean sheet against Arsenal was...
I lived the charm life. The goal.
It's a bit lucky. I think for me, when I think of the particular battle of Jadon Sancho or Pedro Neto, is it Pedro versus Ashley Young? I am not looking forward to it. I think we're going to get absolutely massacred. And Chelsea are a type of team that we hate to play against. I think this particular Chelsea is a team that we hate to play against. We always do well where teams that like to pass it around a lot. We're good at like keeping solid and keeping our shape. But with teams with players that like to run at you, like to dribble at you, like to take on defenders, I think that's where we, those lines begin to break down and those gaps begin to form. So, and this is from an Everton fan. I'm putting my faith in some Chelsea players this week from an FPL perspective because I think there could be points.
I mean, go back to, was it April time, Mikey, last season? 6-0. I know it was at Stamford Bridge, but that was a Cole Palmer 4 goals, was it?
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that one, Chaza. I think it was like almost like a record or something like that.
Yeah.
Chelsea player and stuff. I don't think it's going to be a 6-0. I don't see it being that much of a scoreline. Maybe a 3-0,
but it's well, exactly. Like this is what I mean. Like it could, if it was 4-0, no one would be surprised. And I think some people are talking down the Palmer captaincy this week, whereas I think Everton have had a couple of good games, but if there's something we do know about Everton, which is wildly inconsistent. And so I don't think lightning is going to strike twice.
Interesting. Another game I just want to point out, which I think could be an absolute banger of a game, is Brentford Forest. Forest are smashing it this season.
Yes.
I'm not even going to bother thinking about away form and home form for Forest, but one thing we do know about Brentford is that their home form is brilliant. They've not been beaten at home yet. They score an abundance of goals when they're at home. They beat Newcastle recently, obviously 4-1. Or was it 4-2? 4-1, 4-2. You went. I think the game you went to, Chaza, right?
Yeah, it was one of them. Yeah.
And I think that's got the potential to be a cracker of a game with goals and so on. So just wanted to mention that one.
No, that's a great shout. All of them really, really good points, especially backing up with the mentions of games too. Now, I think we've got to go on the transfer traffic very quickly. Actually, before that, to both of you, where's your Christmas jumpers?
I do have one, but it's in the wash. So,
of course.
All I want for Christmas is Moo.
Yeah,
love it.
That's all.
But I mean, before we go into the transfers, Chaza, I know we kind of covered a couple of things before about budget midfielders and stuff like that. But one of the things I just wanted, which probably falls in line with the transfer traffic also, you'll see the most transferred out player, Aït-Nouri. So Aït-Nouri replacements is something I wanted to quickly cover. I know Mikey is very much thinking about that this week. Not for myself, because I've already got the guy Mikey's getting. So, that Fulham players and maybe triple Chelsea. So those probably 3 things. either one of you really. I mean, Aït-Nouri, I guess.
Let's start there.
Yeah. Aït-Nouri's got like a few half decent replacements. I've said it once on the pod. I'll say it again. Like trying to call a defender, getting some points, it really does feel like playing the lottery. You know, you either win absolutely nothing 99% of the time, or there's that 1% of the time where Lewis Hall, you know, gets that little cheeky 15 pointer and you know, you get a massive result there. I think defenders are a little bit inconsequential as to our overall rank. I know that sounds a little bit controversial to say, but at the same time, you know, you can't have a defender like you getting 0 points. That's why Aït-Nouri is out of all of our teams. Even if we want someone who's just going to get 2 points every week, because clean sheets don't exist.
That's true. And not only that, what player gets himself sent off, meaning that his yellow card count still stands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
wild.
You know, these sort of things.
Getting a straight red is actually wild.
Yeah, these sort of things you can't forgive. Because you know you certainly the game certainly doesn't forgive you, and we have to move on to the next week. But I think Aït-Nouri justifiably, he's flying out of people's teams, but justifiably needs moving out and needs moving out fast. So yeah, I mean replacements start off with certain Mr. Anthony Robinson.
Yeah,
Fulham have a great fixture this week against Southampton home. He's been in great form. Obviously, he picked up 6 points. On my bench last week, he was, because obviously he was playing Liverpool, so bias was naturally in there. But Robinson, another one off the top of my head, you could still go to Lewis Hall, I guess. I mean, away to Ipswich. Newcastle do have a tricky-ish fixture run coming up. Yeah. So you'd probably favour Robinson over him.
Yeah.
Any others that you can think of?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like Lewis Hall's run of fixtures is all right, but you know, not to write home about. The other person I think who could be in the conversation that I've not really seen, you know, battered around other content creators or social media, I think is Colwill from Chelsea. You know, if you're not already on Jackson, Palmer and Enzo, you know, if you're looking for a third Chelsea player, Colwill could be the one. I think there is another option, but it requires a bit of patience, and it's something that I don't really have. It's waiting a week and then going over to Crystal Palace and getting
Munoz.
Yeah, exactly. Getting him in. So I think that's a very viable option. So all eyes on Crystal Palace this week, seeing how defensively solid they are. And also seeing how Munoz gets up and down the pitch. You know, we know he likes to attack. So there could be some attack and returns in there, which is, I think, the only reason to get a defender at the moment. So, you know, like a Colwill doesn't excite me because of, you know, the lack of clean sheets in the Premier League right now. But with Munoz, we know he's going to be in the opposition box quite a lot. So the opportunities will be there for some good attack and returns.
Mm-hmm. Anyone from your point, or that's maybe in your plans, Chaza, or have we pretty much covered them all?
I think you have covered all of them. Two things. It does surprise me a little bit, Morgan Rogers being the third most transferred out, probably because he's got Man City up next, and City are seriously vulnerable these days. I think he can profit okay, or even get the same amount of points as Ahmad and Enzo. Another player who just...
Yeah, I'm playing Rogers against City this week.
Who?
I'm playing Rogers this week against City. Yeah, I mean, it took me a minute to realise, thanks to Reidy, but like, I was like, yeah, actually, why not? You know, this is one of the most vulnerable defences right now, so let's try and capitalise.
That's right. And Ashley Young from Everton, because he just seems to be returning a lot these days.
How long are his legs going to last? That's a good
point.
He's on you know, borrowed time, as they say.
Life support.
And you know what? Like, all fair play to people who did have him when he's managed to get some of these hauls. But I'll be honest, I'd prefer having Mikalenko compared to Young.
Yeah, it's one of them. Like, Everton were like absolutely dog water until they were average. And I think just because they've moved from dog water to average doesn't mean they're good. You know, it's one of them where we look at the returns that Ashley Young has got, and you look at the situations in which he has got those points. I do think, is that really a sustainable source of points income for us, or is that something we maybe look away from a little bit? I think Everton's fixtures are like they're okay at the moment, but soon they turn really bad, right? Like
it's almost like quicksand.
Yeah.
It's gonna go really bad, and they're gonna
definitely
end up really deep in. Well, not in trouble, because they might come out the other side okay, to be honest, and grind some results. But when you look at that fixture ticker, it doesn't look great for Everton. So
no,
that's right.
Yeah, we got Chelsea, Man City, and then we got Forest, Bournemouth, Villa. But it's just awful. It's just not worth investing in. I think if there is a team that we might want to look at soon, ironically, it might be Man City. They've got some a few good fixtures just before the new year, a good run. Some people have been looking at Vardiol again after his goal. Like, again, we don't get the defenders for the clean sheets.
Yeah.
But if there's something that he does well, it's get some goals, and he's got some good fixtures up until just after the new year to maybe bring in some points. Even Brentford and Ipswich, like, boom. Pretty good for them.
Yeah.
So we probably covered. Sorry, I should say triple Chelsea in a way by saying about mentioning Colwill. Cucurella would have been an option, maybe on the slightly sort of wrong side pricing wise, but he got himself a red card also at the end of the Chelsea game, didn't he, last week? But he's looked really interesting from a sort of aligning with that Man City thing of inverted fullbacks. He's been playing that for Chelsea, and if you go back and either watch some of the highlights or moving forward, you keep an eye on it. He's been really attacking, really good actually, to be fair. And if that continues, I feel like it'd be a good option, maybe.
It's a good little show, yeah.
Yeah, obviously Chelsea's fixture run goes on for a little while, so if you haven't already tripled up, he could become a good option if you've got the money for it.
Plus, he'll have had a nice little rest in this suspension. Don't underestimate the power of that going, because he is still their first choice. And when he comes back, he'll have fresh legs, which means he can have a good little fixture on. There is something about Chelsea still, which makes me wonder, is any Chelsea player going to get rotated? Sometimes I still sweat over Jackson because they can just play someone else if they could. He's got the place nailed down, but it's just one of them that they've got so many players that it's not impossible. So. But after a rest for Cucurella, then I think he's an absolute shout. Obviously not for this week, but the games after.
Yeah.
But Chaza, was there a couple of players that are the most transferred in there that I don't know whether I think you boys have already got, I think, one of those players, but Isak, that's the one.
Yeah. We'll talk about him.
Should people still be getting him, or is it too late?
I don't think it's too late. I think the priorities are elsewhere, like budget midfielders, are they?
I mean, if you've got Jackson, would it be viable to go Jackson to Isak, or do you just not think that's worth a transfer at this moment in time?
I would be controversial. I think it's a great transfer in, personally. I think even a couple of games that he's got coming up, Man United and Tottenham.
Villa at home, I think, as well.
Yeah, well, yeah. But from an attacking perspective, how good are Tottenham at keeping clean sheets? Well, on a scale of 1 to not very. Man United looking still in a little bit of disarray at the moment. They've got a lot going on off the pitch, but on the pitch again, they're not looking very solid. Defensively, there are some serious moments where you just go, "Wow, how are they getting away with this?"
Do you own Isak, Chaza?
I don't, but in relation to this point, I think because there's not many managers out there who would have about 4 to 5 transfers, because you said early in the season, Reidy, it's best to keep up with the trends, and they change incredibly quickly. Mm-hmm. If you had that many transfers, I think it might actually be worth as a luxury, and you got the cash to go from Jackson to Isak. But if you're sort of thin and you're sort of thinking about, right, well, this player's suspended, got to take him out, and there's a couple on yellows, I think it's important to sort of have at least one transfer up your sleeve after every game week during this festive period, because multiple players could still get suspended, such as a Morgan Rogers who's on 4 yellows along with Nicholas Jackson.
Yeah, that's very true, Chaza. And I almost agree. I think also from a luxury point of view, if you can afford to go Jackson and Isak, that would also be sort of like, I wouldn't go against that or be against that, because I feel like Isak, Chris Wood, Jackson are kind of like the best 3 to go for. We know that Haaland's great fixture run's kind of coming up, so that's always going to be in the back of our minds. However, going back to what you said there, it's having enough transfers. Can you basically have 4 or 5 transfers and then basically change your team just to, get Haaland in, which could end up not being worth it ultimately, right? So, yeah, good point there, Chaza. Great point.
I can confirm it isn't worth it.
Yeah, just ask Mikey. That's enough to tell you.
I wanted to ask, too, before we go to our teams, how beneficial has it been banking those transfers and then still having them even after activating the wildcard? Because that only enhances a buffer space in terms of trying to change your team around and the amount of flexibility that is on hand.
Well, I wouldn't know, so Reidy, you...
I wouldn't know either. I mean, it started out great for me. I was going to get to 5 free transfers, and that's probably not a defining sort of moment of my season, but taking Palmer out when he got his hat-trick against Forest for Semenyo really dented sort of my ability to plan moving forward, because I had nearly 5 transfers. I could have left it as it was, and I'd have been in a great position. And because of that, it's made me, force me into using transfers, because obviously you have injuries, you have suspensions, one player looks good and the landscape might change all of a sudden. Rotation, is another thing, becomes a thing. Obviously we've had recently we've had those 3 fixtures within 1 week. We've got it again coming up, so that really has made it difficult for me to roll transfers. But I am looking to get back on that path and that plan, as long as our Lord and Saviour will grant me that, which I'm sure he will, won't he, Mikey?
Gabriel Jesus, yeah.
That's how I look at it. But yeah, what about yourself, Chaza? Are you kind of think now you're in that position where you're level with me on points? I think you've rolled quite a few weeks or more than kind of like 2-3 times, right? Do you finding it easy or difficult?
I find it more difficult to roll after you go from 3 transfers onwards, because everything changes drastically.
Yeah.
I feel like
you're holding on a bit too long. Like you get to 4 and you go, some really good options this week. There's some really good fixtures this week, etc. And you look at the players you've got, but then also if you've got value in some of those, you don't want to get rid of them because you've got to buy them then back at a higher price. It's a really tricky one to kind of navigate, right?
That's correct. Great points. I really enjoyed that discussion. Is it time to reveal our sides, or have we missed anything?
No, I think.
Yeah, we can go for it.
I think we're ready.
Rev, you're first off the rack.
No pressure, Rev. No pressure.
Yeah, so if you want to add me thing to the screen, there we go. I'll try and zoom in a little bit, and just to get it like nice and full, so that the people can see. Little bit of a, first of all, a goalkeeping dilemma. I don't know if the chat or you guys want to help me out with this one. Do I want to go with Flecken at home to Forest, or do I want to play Verbruggen against West Ham away? I think for me, I'm leaning towards Flecken just by the sheer fact that I've got Bowen. So if I'm back in Bowen, I obviously want.
Okay. Are you ready on 3, Chaza? We'll both say which keeper we think. Are you ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, wrong way round. 1, 2, 3, Flecken.
Verbruggen.
Never mind.
Okay.
Bit slow there, but We're obviously both different on that one, but I think with the home fixture, I'd go Flecken.
Okay, back to home fixture. Fair play.
Actually, sorry. I did say Bart, and then I realised you had Flecken. You know what? Flecken, yes, because he can hit them long ball assists to Nathan Collins.
Yeah.
And he's actually made quite a lot of... Actually, he's made the most saves in the Premier League. And Verbruggen lately looks like he's been bouncing around, a load of clogs up his backside. So,
That's right. Reidy, just quickly, it reminds me of that time when we were on the pod, I think, with Ash and Quentin, how you made that dilemma about De Zerbi and juggling between Brighton keepers. It's your turn today, son.
Yeah, well, that's it, mate. That's it. Too many clogs knocking about for Verbruggen, and I think he's going to chip a 2 soon if he carries on the way he's going. But yeah, I think Mikey's gone right with that one. And I think we both agree now, right, Chaza?
Yeah.
Well, Mikey, what's the rest?
Second controversial thing, playing 2 Aston Villa players with João Pedro on the bench at the moment. Again, it kind of stems from the whole, if I'm backing Bowen to do well, I'm backing Brighton to do badly. And Brighton haven't been great recently. So benching João Pedro when he's like 5-point-something mil, it doesn't feel like that bad. And with Man City so vulnerable recently, playing Rodgers whilst other people are selling him feels like a little opportunity for a good little differential there. My transfer this week, Aït-Nouri to Robinson of Fulham, who plays Southampton at home. I think clean sheets are few and far between this year, but if there was ever an opportunity for one, it'd be now. And I had to sell Aït-Nouri anyway because of the suspension, so it just made perfect sense to bring him in. Another controversial thing about this is Captain Palmer against my own beloved Everton. Sorry, I'm not necessarily going to believe lightning will strike twice, and then I think at the minute I've got the best 2 forwards in the game.
So good
at the moment up top for me. So that looks super solid again. So yeah, there's the team, boys.
And what do you think about the Konza sort of pick, Chaza? I mean, given what Mikey said about Man City's defence, do you think that attacking wise, they're still, Villa are capable of keeping a clean sheet against City?
Is that Rico Lewis on your bench here?
Yeah.
This is a bit bold call. I would feel, because of his attacking pedigree, to potentially put Lewis on field over Konza. Yeah, which is a strange one. So can I ask one question? What day did you do the 8-9 to Robinson transfer, and how good is the Sunday doing that?
Yeah, no, it was definitely on. As soon as I saw it happen, as soon as I saw him get the red card, I was like, because one of the things that I'm struggling with at the moment in my team is team value. You look at other content creators like FPL Harry, insane team value. He's got basically my team, except for, instead of Konza, he's got Trent. And instead of Flecken, he's got Raya. And instead of Lewis, he's got Gabriel. And I can't go there, Obviously, he's got Enzo and I've got Bowen, but there is a big disparity right now. And so one of the things that I need to really focus on is building up my team value. And so I could not afford to lose any value from Aït-Nouri at all. So I had to make the switch immediately. And fortunately, I haven't been punished for once.
Okay. Best of luck, Greg.
Last words.
I know, yeah. I was going to say.
I like it.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting, Reidy. What do you reckon about playing Lewis over Konsa?
I think up until recently when Lewis got his goal and then obviously got stupidly sent off, which wasn't a sending off by the looks of things. But even so, I don't think Lewis is off enough this season, being an inverted sort of fullback. He's not attacking enough, in my opinion. If you look at the comparison that I mentioned before, you look at Cucurella. I mean, even if you were to look at a heat map or stats or whatever you want to call it, for Cucurella against Lewis, I'm sure you'll find Cucurella is much better in that department. City's clean sheets yet again. If they don't keep a clean sheet and he doesn't get a return attacking wise, then why bother? I think Villa at home are good. I think they won't be scared of City. They'll definitely go at them. And you're looking at Haaland at the minute, who's the one to kind of who they're turning to score the goals for them. And yeah, okay, he's quite capable of scoring against Villa this weekend, absolutely. But I think Villa defence is not the worst in the world, and I just think because they're at home, I'd just favour Konza over Lewis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair play.
Yeah.
Home fixture logic, yeah.
And if none of them, if they both get 2 points between them, it doesn't really matter.
Then I was right all along, and defenders don't matter. Yeah.
So,
defenders don't matter.
Yeah. Is actually go back to something very quickly. You took it in Oreo. Now, price changes wise, it was a good thing to do. And I guess you talked about value just then. So I suppose it does matter to you a lot. But if you weren't in a position where team value and etc. could have been one of them things where you changed and took Lewis out.
Yeah.
Even though he's back this week, took Lewis out. Some people think he could end up being FPL gold, especially with City's fixture run. I just don't really see it, but you could have took Lewis out and basically Robinson. Oh no, you still have been in the same situation, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You'd have had Aït-Nouri, you'd have had Greaves as cover. Scrap everything I've just said, Chaza, as you were.
Yeah, exactly. Reidy's just basically said my thought process behind the entire move, which is can't rely on Greaves or Lewis to cover me at the moment. And so if we actually look at Greaves minutes recently, it's not been good. So bit of a shame for him.
That's one of the things I regret on wildcard as well, is not getting Leif Davis.
Yeah, Leif Davis,
extra 0.5 over Greaves, because he's just a dead player, really.
Yeah, it was just greed. One it.
Not in real life.
I'm the same. Jeez.
Yeah.
Fair play. Anyway, we talked about my team enough, guys. Yeah. Let's move to one of yours.
Reidy's.
Yes.
Oh, that's tasty.
It's not bad, It's not too bad.
Even Weiser's still a great shout.
Weiser's been pulling up the numbers recently. He's been doing all right.
Ticking over.
Yeah. I don't know if I loved the defense yet. I just don't know. I mean, Virgil's fine. Tottenham could easily score against us. It's at their place. Gabriel away as well, and then Fabianski and Robinson home fixtures. I like those two, but obviously a lot of people are going to go for Robinson. So that's my defense. Midfield pretty straightforward: Salah, Palmer, Enzo, Saka, and then the front three of Wissa, Jackson, Cunha. Now we still don't know about Cunha. I don't think he'll be banned. I think he will get this weekend, and if so, he's a great sort of option to have against Leicester, who are just abysmal defending wise. So Matoma's the bench cover at the moment. If basically Cunha doesn't play, I've got one free transfer. Well, we haven't got up to that point, but I might as well say it. One free transfer. I'm going to roll this week.
Even with Aït-Nouri in the team.
Even with Aït-Nouri in the team, I think, because
you've got the squad to do it. Then fair play. It's just that if.
Who do I go to then, defender-wise, that I need to play this week? I could go to a Lewis Hall, for example.
It's about not having cover. So you're in the same boat as me, where if for some reason Virgil, Gabriel, or Robinson just pull up in the warm-up, like you don't have a player there.
Which is what I want, because I need to get ahead of you.
Oh, yeah, there we go. We say -4. No, I've got 1 free, so obviously
so for me, we could go to I keep forgetting his name. Munoz, from Crystal Palace. I reckon.
But he's suspended.
Is he?
Yeah, he is this weekend.
All right, well.
Hall, basically Hall. Just say it's Lewis Hall. But then, would I want to bench Lewis Hall?
No, you wouldn't.
You definitely wouldn't.
So, in that case, who would I bench?
Probably in fairness, I think you're good to roll.
Yeah. I think thinking about it, sorry, I didn't know that Munoz was suspended. Yeah.
So, what's the likelihood of those 3 being injured or out or whatever? We've had updates today from the managers: Virgil, Gabriel, all nailed.
Yeah, they're all nailed. It's just Greaves is a bit of an issue. You know what I like the thing about this the most is like the team is quite aesthetic. You know what I would like you to do though is move Robinson with Gabriel. just switch those two, and
yeah, you've got Cunha's orange ruining things. So
no, it's fine. It's fine because you got that little blue little triangle.
I'll do it for you, Mikey.
Yeah, thanks, man.
I'll do it now.
just so I can see it,
But yeah, I'm going to roll. I mean, Aït-Nouri's going out next week, so 2 frees next week. Aït-Nouri and probably
Matoma.
That's the one.
Yeah.
One
Or
last.
Cunha. To be fair, Cunha could be on the chopping block.
If Cunha's suspended, then I have to move Cunha. Yeah.
What I love about this, Reidy, of all things, is I've got so much respect in you having Johan Visser this whole time.
You know what? And it's actually like, I'm thinking, when's the expiry date? When am I going to just go, I need to get rid of him? But he's 6 mil. So it's a really difficult price point to go, well, do we go João Pedro? Do we go Strand Larsen? I don't really want to go back to Wolves once I get rid of them.
Chris Wood, mate?
Chris Wood, I need to make sure I've got 0.6 there.
Oh, yeah.
To go to him. I mean, Cunha to Chris Wood is on the cards next week. I'm not going to lie. Cunha, Chris Wood, Aït-Nouri Hall, or Munoz, whichever. So that could be an option. But yeah, Wisser's, you know what? If there's one player in this team I could not complain about that I've had for quite a while, it's Wisser. Because there's times when he's got me points when when I wasn't expecting or kind of like needed them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's top.
Up to you, Chaza.
It is up to me. Mate. I really love the sides. I think it's great dilemmas that we've spoken about too, especially one wanting to keep Aït-Nouri based on the team structure, another going for the 3-5-2 in its own right, and then there's just this person who just waits till the end of the week for viewership purposes to do their move. So this is how we're looking before the move, 3-4-3. But let's get to the actual nitty-gritty information.
How much have you got in the bank? Question. Point two.
So I want to make sure I'm not priced out to doing Robinson. So let's search him up and see if we got enough. Yeah, we do. All right. Sorry, guys. Straightforward this week. Make transfer. We're going to, confirm it.
Live transfers.
Ooh. And then who are you dropping to the bench, though? It's got to be Aina, right?
Yeah, it has to be Aina. Yeah. So he'll go there. Away to the third. And the rest looks pretty settled for what it is this week. So that's how I do it. I'll see if I can extend this by a few percentages. Yeah, so there we go.
So, good stuff. Flecken, same as Mikey. Virgil and Robinson, same as me. So the difference will be Timber and Gabriel between mine and your defence this week, Chaza.
Yeah. Not a lot in it. Yeah.
Midfield, you've got Bowen, I've got Enzo. And then up top, you've got Evan Nielsen, I've got Wisser.
Yeah.
So a difference of 3 players, really, between us.
Hardly any, isn't it?
4 with the goalkeeper, Fabianski and Flecken.
And so, captain on Salah?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It is.
I think we can't take the Man United game too seriously. I mean, obviously, Forster was caught lacking twice.
Forster.
Sorry, Forster. Yeah. Sorry, I was thinking Ben Foster. Yeah, sorry, as in Fraser Forster. Yeah.
You went Irish then? Fraser Forster.
Fraser Forster. Yeah, to be sure, mate. To be sure. So yeah, I don't know how repeatable a result like that is for a 7-goal thriller. But Liverpool versus Spurs, it does have 7-goal thriller written all over it as well. So good luck to you, mate.
Yeah, you have to go quite far back to when Liverpool, Tottenham finished a goalless draw or a 1-1 or something. So
yeah,
it's guaranteed goals.
And the reason why I've kept one more free transfer in the bank is, as we spoke before, if Rodgers and Jackson both get suspended this game week, then we're in strife.
Well, Rodgers, Jackson, Cunha, Chaza, you could have a three player today.
Yeah, 3 Yeah. Oh God, that's even more.
Next week. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to see a live -8 next time, hopefully.
Yes, please.
I think of all the game weeks in the next 4 weeks, I think for 28th, 29th of December, that game week, which would be game week 19, that's probably going to have the most rotation of any. And that's where I feel there's imperative to have bench cover regardless on that week because it's a less turnaround.
Which game week's that?
Game week 19, because we've got 18 Boxing Day, then we got 19, which is the one in between New Year's and Christmas.
Yeah. So we're going to see rotation. We're going to see potentially players who are ill, injuries. It's going to happen. So that's why I think for me personally, even though I've not really got great bench cover from a defensive point of view, I think it's really vital to roll this transfer this week and give me two next week.
Yeah, I agree. All right, one last thing. It's Captain's Corner and Fairness. I've not actually scripted up much. I haven't not wrote anything down, but we'll go with what we know. So off we pop. So Mo Salah, he is irresistible away from home. He's away at Spurs, a side who conceded 3 last night in the League Cup quarter-final against Man United. He has managed to produce 6 double-figure hauls on his away trips and only blanked once. However, both Cole Palmer and Erling Haaland are suitable alternatives. Palmer, last time he was on a road trip, 18 points away at Tottenham Hotspur. And Erling Haaland has also scored in 2 of his last 3 away matches prior to his meet-up in Aston Villa. Salah has created a total of 14 big chances in away matches, which is just more than Palmer and Haaland with their 11. Let's not forget the Brentford pair too, Mbeumo and Wissa. Wissa has started all 6 of his home matches and averaged 9.5 points per home match across those at the G Tech. Bruno Fernandes is tied with Wissa as well with 9 big chances in his home games too, 1 to also monitor. And then Brian Mbeumo has also collected 75 points from his 8 home league outings so far. So there's plenty to go a lot. Southampton have conceded the most goals this season, which certainly favours Jimenez and Alex Iwobi. Leicester with a second worst. I'm not sure who would captain Cunha, but there's a curveball right there. And then Ipswich being the 3rd worst. Could be a good week for Aleksander Isak too. He has been on fire recently. So that's kind of all. It's certainly not the best one, but plenty to think about. Monday will be a lot more better prepared. But is it a leaky Spurs? Mo Salah? Is it Cole Palmer with his final trip to Goodison? Haaland away at Villa Park. Bukayo Saka as well with another London derby who got an assist midweek at the Emirates. And then Jesus also scored a hat-trick.
It was a very rare hat-trick. Someone said quite a funny stat. It's like they can't believe that Gabriel Jesus got a hat-trick before Saka. You know, an Arsenal hat-trick. So it kind of does show you about, like, you know, if you're captaining someone, you're looking for the big hauls, is Saka the way to go? Or is Saka just like captain consistent, kind of ticking over in your team, like the Harry Kane of, you know, a few seasons ago? You know, just having him in your team, getting 1 goal every week, kind of, you know, ticking along. And maybe he's the option this week because captaincy is so open. You know, we don't know exactly who to go for, so maybe go with captain consistent. You know, that could be a move, but that's my thoughts. But other than that, don't believe in Everton. Nothing to smile about in my life. Captain Palmer. Then have a breakdown afterwards. Yeah. Cry myself to sleep. Easy.
That's it.
Yeah.
Just like Georgie Drummond said, go hard or go home.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, I think that kind of wraps it up. Is there much that I've sort of missed on your end, the studio? It's like B1 and B2 in there.
Yeah, mate. You can come here next time, man, and we can all do a big live pod.
Oh, wouldn't it be a bit squishy?
That'd be fine. You can just sit on my knee, innit?
Yeah, that's it. It's not as if, you know, it's not as if Shannon Backhouse is going to be, you know, taking up too many laps, so it'll be all right.
We've ended up here. I mean, we're just going to leave it as that. Rev, Reidy, thank you as always. And well done to you both.
We're terrible. We're such bad wind-ups, Chaza. We're sorry. We love you.
2 scouts in the house, one to say.
Yeah.
But well done to you both for both coming together in person for our first studio live broadcast. I think it's been good. That's right. Before we forget, we kind of forgot to say hello to everyone. We saw Gary, Miriam. Thank you as always for popping by. Favorite podcast. We'll really appreciate that. Giving us 5 transfers was an FPL trick. I think that is a good way to put it. John David, great to have you back. Let us know your thoughts or send them in by messages. Chasmus is a new holiday. Robinson is a new juice this week. Young at heart.
Ashley Young at heart. Yeah.
Run free. Oh, no, actually, I won't start singing. That's made a bow out for the day. But best of luck to you both. And thanks as always. Awesome. Let's go. Gameweek 17 time. Sorted.